What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Bubba Speed Career Mode. And it is time for us to go to one of my least favorite tracks on the entire calendar, and of course is Austria. It's the My World Motorrad Grand Prix von Österreich. So a terrible track, terrible name to be honest, and it's just not one that I enjoy at all. The layout of the track, everything about it is just, it's horrible in my opinion. So not looking forward to this, but it is one that you have to get done, you have to get out of the way. And then the only other track that I truly dislike left on the calendar is Aragon, and also I could potentially say even Thailand. That's another one that I don't really like, but I don't despise it. Now, looking for a team in Moto2, I want to go to a team that isn't already existing yet, and these are teams that are being founded or that are in the process of potentially being founded, as far as I can tell, because they have a whole section that's for teams that are like starting to start up and expand in the championship. I want to sign with Oakley because, of course, you know they're expecting to perform well. They have a good system around them in terms of they have plenty of money to build up a good bike and all that stuff. And I feel like that's going to be a decent one. We qualified 5th, so not terrible. And see if we can actually go and get some points here, because usually in Austria I have a hell of a hard time even getting any kind of a decent result. Even getting towards the podium for me is a nightmare usually. First turn, the fact that we're able to get through it in the rain is already positive. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've struggled many a time with it. It's one that it's always been a nightmare for me, and just I don't know what it is. It's just this track in general. I've never been able to do anything decent on it. It's been a monstrous struggle for me for years now. Yeah, I've just never been a fan. Like, this turn right here is probably the bane of my existence, and even the next one. Those are the two that really make me I have a hard time with, like really big time. Good news is though, Mazia isn't up front. Looks like he's somewhere towards at least he's not in first. So Lopez, he's not really a threat to our title hopes. So I'm okay with him being up front. That's probably Mazia, because I think Foggia's back there. Yeah, I'm expecting that's going to be Mazia. Foggia's right there too, so either way, they're right there. Yeah, it's Mazia in third. The important thing is that we finish close to Mazia. That's all I really care about at this point of the season, because Antonelli continues to have relatively bad performances here and there. So realistically, the only person we have to worry about right now is Mazia, and I definitely feel like if we can get close to him in this race, then it's pretty much a given we're going to win this title, because all the other tracks after this, I'm confident I can at least finish on the podium, or more or less there. So we won't be losing too many points, in my opinion, unless I make huge mistakes, which is always possible. It is racing, so anything can happen, and I don't restart if I crash out. So things can happen. That's for damn sure. But we'll see. Right now, Lopez is having a great race. Had an excellent first lap. He is 1.4 seconds ahead of us, which is, it's not too far away for us to be able to catch up to him, but we're gonna have to push a little bit, and that's dangerous because it's raining, and it's, like I said, a track that's pretty difficult for me. So have to kind of focus more on the big picture, I would say here. Yes, I want to win, but at the same time, the important thing is the points, and basically staying around Mazia. So Suzuki is now third. So Mazia is dropping positions, but this is Moto3, so he could be right there within a span of a turn. He could go from like 6th to 3rd. He can even get past us. There you go. Suzuki and Mazia get past us, or Foggia and Mazia. So all three of them get past us. Not the best, but like I said, man, Moto3, anything can happen. In a span of 2 turns, you can go from a podium spot to basically 8th or something like that. So it's a pretty tough class if you aren't dominant, I would say. So. And that's kind of the beauty of it, to be honest. Like if you're watching MotoGP, there's Marquez, and there's everybody else essentially. Every once in a while, Dovizioso can win a race and things like that. But for the most part, it's gonna be the same few people, and the gaps are gonna be pretty big. In Moto3, that's not really a thing. Yes, there's the 2 or 3 guys that are gonna win most of the races, but they have a lot more battles. It's probably because everything's a lot more balanced. It makes things a bit more even, and it's more about the rider. As opposed to the machine, which is the biggest thing in MotoGP, which is, thankfully over the past few years it has gotten better. Marquez is constantly winning, of course, that's fine, but that's just because he's that damn good. But it has been getting a bit more competitive. It has been getting a bit closer over the past few years, because there was a while there where it was looking like Formula 1, where it was just the same thing over and over and over again, huge gaps, and it was just kind of getting really boring. But thankfully, it's getting better. And this MotoGP, Moto3 season for Bubba Speed has been kind of like a Marquez season, honestly. He's pretty much won every race, and the ones he hasn't won, he's been right there. He's always, I don't think he's had really a single terrible performance this season. So overall, been a really dominant one. And right now, he's 3.2 back. So Lopez is having a phenomenal race. He's way up there. He's making it difficult for anybody to really do anything to him, which is, of course, what he wants to do. And I don't know exactly where he is in the standings, but what I do know is he's not a threat, as I mentioned earlier. And if you notice, Antonelli is way back there right now. He's like 14th. There you go. He's 15th. He's battling with Kuno for 15th and 14th. So that's good for us. That's really good news because as of right now, we're basically killing off Antonelli's dreams of winning the title, and we're making Mazia. Basically, we're going to frustrate him because he remains behind us despite this being one of our worst tracks. And honestly, if I could sign on the dotted line right now to finish second in this race, I probably would. I wouldn't be upset about that at all. I would be very happy about it. I mean, like I've always said, I want to win every race, but you know, sometimes it's not even that's not on the cards, and sometimes you have an opponent like Lopez who is just having a hell of a race, and it is what it is. And if you notice, actually, we don't usually lose any ground on any of the sectors except for the first one, because in the first one we lose a lot. Like, we're 3.5 back, so let's see what happens as we cross the line. We'll see where we are when we cross the line. I'm assuming like 3.5, 3.6, yeah, 3.6. So 3.67, and let's take a look at where we're going to be come the end of the first sector, because that's the one that always bothers me. Much like Brno, you know, I can't get a good enough first sector to really be fast, but I'm decent enough in the following sectors to where I'm at least capable of sticking around towards the front. And the good thing about being, you know, the good thing about this performance right here is that it is in the rain, so you know you don't have to worry necessarily about them going balls to the wall. They will crash if they make a mistake. And the gap is 4.1. So yeah, we lost half a second. That happens every lap pretty much. So this is one where we actually did better. Usually we lose more than half a second, which is why after 4 laps we're over 4 seconds back. So my math could be off there. It actually might be half a second per lap if you think about it, but I feel like in the first lap we definitely lost a lot because we were 1.5 back, so that probably did have a big impact. We had a pretty poor first lap. Now we're 4.5, so I'll take that back. We actually do struggle in more than just the first sector. We lost quite a bit there too, but a lot of it has to do with fuel consumption, the rain, all that stuff. Me still having low traction. Have to get better at that because I feel like it does make you faster. Of course, it makes you faster because you have the ability to do more what you want. You can get on the gas when you want, and you can actually get more power going out of the turns. But it does take a lot more ability to actually use the bike, especially as the race goes on, because of course you have less fuel, so the bike it moves around more. It doesn't have as much weight to it, obviously, but also the tires. And in the rain, it makes things difficult. I probably should have gone with 1 or 2 traction, but I just feel like with 0, I'm a lot more confident on the bike, which is weird to say. Like you probably should feel more stable when you're using traction control, but I feel like I'm faster without it. Meanwhile, crash. Mazia has crashed. That's terrible for him. I don't wish anybody to crash, of course, even in a video game. That's not really how I am. Like I've wished people to crash in the past, but not like hoping that they actually crash. It's like you celebrate like when Valentino Rossi crashed in Valencia, the year that Nicky Hayden won. I celebrated my ass off, of course, but first of all, nothing happened to Rossi, so it wasn't like he got injured or something like that. And second of all, it was because Nicky Hayden had the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of winning the championship, so it was a lot riding on it. And that's the only kind of scenario where I do condone, celebrating and hoping people crash. That's pretty much it. And yeah, if somebody does get hurt, that's always terrible. Luckily, it's a video game, so that's not really the case. Because if people died in a video game like this, where Bubba has a tendency of banging people like right there, then yeah, it would be pretty terrible. There was a game, I can't remember which one it was though. I think there were injuries actually. I could be wrong about that. I think it was maybe a Superbike game where there was injuries or something. It was hilarious, but it was I could be wrong about that. I should probably do some research on it, but I feel like that was a thing. And if it was, then that's an amazing mechanic. All right, so right now, getting back to the race, Suzuki. I mean, we almost crashed his ass out, and I could have just gone flying into him and probably gotten a good drive out of it. But I don't want to be that guy. Like I said, last season in MotoGP 19, because I hated the game so much, I would bump into people no problem. Of course, not online. Online, that's bullshit. Offline, whatever. I would bump into people, and I would try to cheese, and that's just because I couldn't get the game to steer. But in this game, with the gameplay so good, despite me bumping into somebody right there, Vietti, I think that was, I don't condone it. Sorry, it was Fernandez. No, not Fernandez. Who the hell was it? I don't know. Regardless, I don't really condone it. I'm trying not to be like that, especially because once I do go online and start trying to compete, I need to be used to racing my own race as opposed to cheating by bumping into people. Right now, diving on Vietti, I've been talking like I'm not going to do it, and then of course I go and do it. So that's kind of embarrassing, but you get the picture, guys. I'm not trying to do it on purpose to try to get an advantage. It's just kind of something that happened, and I didn't crash him out, which is good. At least he can still get some points. He can potentially still finish above us. And it is a shame that we've gone from 2nd place to 6th in the span of like a lap. So that's far from being ideal. Meanwhile, on our ass, we got to try to... At this point, we have to save face. We really do have to save face. Because this is not good. Like, this isn't ideal. Now, luckily for us, Mazia crashed out, and Antonelli is way back there. So even if we don't end up on the podium, which is what I was, we were looking like we were going to end up for the entire race, I would still be okay with it. I would be disappointed, but it's not the end of the world because we're still going to gain points over our opponents, which is good. We're going to extend our lead. All I have to do is not make a mistake here. Hopefully not get a penalty because that's devastating right there. Almost got a penalty there because that's always a threat in this game. And going through the last turn, didn't do it particularly well. I'm not going to lie to you guys. There's a chance of us getting drafted. They're on our ass, but we're just... Okay, we're able to get through. We came close to blowing it even more in the last lap, but we were able to secure at least a 6th position. Not terrible. Our fastest lap was pretty slow, I'm not going to lie. Our fastest lap was way slower than Suzuki, and Lopez actually didn't have that great of a fastest lap, but, he was just consistent the entire race. Antonelli 15th, and Mazia, he might be last. Mazia is dead fucking last, guys. Yep, 32nd right there. Holy shit, man. Mazia with just complete shit show of performance. He was doing well, and then he crashed out, and he was never able to recover. So now we have a 49-point lead over Mazia. Suzuki now is 3rd, and then Antonelli is 4th. So we're looking good. We got a solid lead. I'm feeling confident going in the next few races, and I definitely think that a championship win is on the cards. Oakley has offered us a contract, and keep in mind that I didn't notice that there's a transfer market, so you only have a limited amount of time before you can start signing contracts. So essentially, if I want to move up to Moto2, I have to spend $105,000 or credits, whatever, to breach the contract and move up to Moto2. So for the breach of the contract that I signed for next season. So have to try to perform at the best of our abilities and win and do well in qualifying. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comment section down below what you think of the series, what I can improve, and let me know if you're just enjoying it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.